history, and future of aviation at Payne Field. For more information, go to paynefield.com.
The Seahawks, the Mariners, the Silvertips, the Aqua Sox, the Huskies, the Cougars, and what's happening on your street. We've never sounded better. We've never sounded bigger. Fox Sports 1380 on the AM dial and now on 95.3 FM, bringing you the biggest names in sports for the North South. Fox Sports 1380 is delivered to you at 1380 on the AM dial, crystal clear on the FM dial at 95.3, and we're streaming live 24/7 at KRKO.com.
Race to win a brand new truck this May at Tulalip Resort Casino. Earn entries for all your play every Monday through Friday and join the final drawing May 31st at 8 p.m. where 10 lucky winners will race for a brand new Chevy Silverado. And while you're at it, join the free play frenzy every Monday for up to $1,000 in bonus free play. Find all the details at TulalipCasino.com.
It's camping season. Speedway RV Center is inviting you to visit our massive RV inventory on over 10 acres in Monroe. My name is James, and I'll be one of the happy campers serving you. Speedway RV Center is owned by the Lee Johnson Auto family, who've been serving our communities for over 85 years. Here at Speedway RV Center, we are proud supporters of our Washington State parks, and we carry a full line of RVs, from Class A motorhomes, both diesel and gas, to fifth wheels, park models, a variety of travel trailers, and industry best host campers. We also have a complete parts and service department for all your RV needs. All of us here at Speedway RV Center are set apart by our noticeable commitment to helping you understand how to enjoy your RV to its fullest, and to share with you all the tips and tricks that help make RVing fun and easy. We look forward to seeing you at Speedway RV Center in beautiful Monroe, right next to Speedway Chevrolet, and see why we say that we're the happy campers serving happy campers. Visit us online at SpeedwayRVCenter.com, that's SpeedwayRVCenter.com, or check us out on Facebook. Happy camping!
Here's why it feels so good to donate your unwanted vehicle to Volunteers of America. It'll help feed, clothe, and shelter people in need right here in Western Washington, and you'll receive the highest deduction allowed by law. It's quick and easy. They'll pick up the vehicle and do all the paperwork. With your help, Volunteers of America Western Washington have been helping people for more than 100 years. Thank you. To donate a vehicle, call 1-877-CAR4VOA or visit voaww.org.
Jet City Traffic, powered by EverettPost.com.
6:01, good afternoon. Tom Lafferty taking a look at traffic. Couple spots that are going to still slow you down here this afternoon. Northbound I-5, just past the Everett Mall, approaching 41st, is still pretty slow. Not bad, very light traffic, Hewitt Avenue, Trestle. Still over an hour wait at Mukilteo and Edmonds if you're heading across on the Washington State Ferry. Southbound I-5, heading through Linwood, is going to be slow moving. Also, there was an earlier problem. Northbound express lanes just north of Northeast 42nd. That collision has been cleared up and out of the way. Northbound I-5 coming out, 405 actually, is going to be slow through Canyon Park. There was an earlier problem. Northbound, collision blocking the two left lanes just south of Highway 2. So a little bit slow through that area, but that looks like it's just about cleared up and out of the way. If you're looking for a great deal on a great meal, head to the Buzz Inn Steakhouse. Enjoy their signature breakfast Monday through Friday till 10:30 for just $4.99. 11 locations to serve you, including the corner of Broadway and Pacific in downtown Everett. Mostly cloudy tonight, partly sunny tomorrow with highs near 66. Right now, 66 degrees in downtown Everett. Fox Sports 1380, FM 95.3. It is a Thursday evening in Snohomish County. That must mean it's time for Prep Sports Weekly here on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3. Tom Lafferty here. Steve Willits in the other room. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing pretty good. We're winding to a close here.
We are. It's state championship week.
It is.
I know. And some of the sports, well, one of the sports, golf, they've already crowned their state champions this week. And now we've got baseball, softball, golf, track and fields. What am I missing here? I'm just doing this. Soccer. There we go. We have an athletic director in the studio with us, so he made sure that I was covered. Tennis going on this week. So many different things going on, and plenty of great athletes from the area and coaches to talk with.
And we're going to get underway here in a moment. Today's show brought to you in part by Vanderyacht Propane, by Snohomish County PUD, Glass by Lund, Allstate Insurance Agent Brian Reed, and the law office of Russell and Hill. Who have you rustled up today?
We have rustled up a a few folks from the Everett School District. We'll talk to them in segments 2 and 3. We've got Robert Polk in studio, who is the athletic director from the Everett School District, who not only is he the athletic director for 3 high schools, but 5 or 6 middle schools and numerous sports, and we'll talk to him about all of his tasks and what the month of May looks like for him. It's a busy time. Mm-hmm. He also has 2 new football coaches this year. David Coldiron from Everett High School is the new coach for the Seagulls. We'll have him on the phone later. And then Jordan C. From Cascade, a name that I think a lot of folks know around here already. He was a former player at Cascade. He's also been a coach for the last few years.
Right.
He'll be on the show with us. But then in the first segment, we're going to talk with some baseball and softball coaches who are vying for state championships this weekend. We're going to have baseball coaches from Edmonds Woodway, Dan Somoza, and Andrew Waters from Mountlake Terrace on in a moment. Both have already punched their tickets into the semifinals. And then after that, we're going to talk to some softball coaches, 2 friends of the show, Kyle Peacock from Jackson and Luke Kennedy from Snohomish. Both are going down and vying for titles starting tomorrow.
Let's get underway.
Let's do it.
Here we go. And we bring in Andrew Waters of Mountlake Terrace, Dan Somoza of Edmonds Woodway. Coach Waters, where are you right now as we speak?
I'm in a parking lot in Everett on my way home after our last practice of the year and just getting ready to take off early tomorrow morning to Yakima.
Well, you're in Everett, so we could have just brought you in studio. I didn't realize you were that close. But you've got a few you got a few things on your plate right now, though, don't you?
Just a few.
So now talk about that, because you're in a parking lot grabbing, is it transportation vans to get over to Yakima for the team? Is that correct?
Yeah, we're renting SUVs to make the trip and have our coaches driving. And so there's a little bit to it getting them all transported, but I think we got it all figured out and a good plan for the weekend.
And Coach Somoza, where are you as we hook up with you?
I'm actually in Pasco right now trying to check in 15 teenage boys into the hotel here. So that's always a process.
This is interesting because these aren't things that you normally think of. Robert's sitting across from us right now, the athletic director from Everett. And I know you've got a big weekend in terms of coaching, but really there's a lot more to it, isn't there? And Dan, this isn't your first rodeo. You've been in the semifinals before. You're not just a coach this weekend, are you?
Yeah, a lot of logistics to put, but a lot of things going together. But we have amazing athletic directors and administration, our Edmonds School District that helps out a lot. So, but it's a good problem to have. So we'll take it anytime.
Andrew, I was a little surprised by you guys. You've got a 1:00 game tomorrow in Yakima, and yet you've elected to, I guess, sleep in your own beds tonight and get up in the morning and head on over. Was that an easy decision, or was it something you guys thought about a little bit?
As a coach, Yakima, it's not the same trip as Edmonds Woodway there's making, and we're about halfway as far. And, we just wanted to get up early, and we're taking the kids to a good breakfast tomorrow morning and splitting up our drive. And we're going to get to the field in plenty of time. And I don't know, maybe it's the luck that we've had. We've done pretty well with 1.5-hour long bus rides so far. So we're hoping that maybe the ride and getting to the field early, we're just going to be fresh and ready to go tomorrow.
Well, and again, both teams are on their way to the semifinals right now. Give us a quick rundown, and Dan, we'll start with you for Edmonds Woodway. Talk a little bit about last weekend, because this is a single elimination tournament thus far. You were in the round of 16. You had to win 2 games on Saturday last week, first of which was against Mercer Island, a team that I think a lot of folks thought might be the favorite to win the state championship this year.
Yeah, Mercer Island is an amazing team, and but our guys just came into it. We just played the baseball. Anything can happen. And, it was a close game throughout, and things went our way at the end, and we pulled out the victory versus Mercer Island, which was a huge win for us. They were the number 1 team in the state ranked. And then the second game, we just came out and scored 7 runs in the first inning, which is very nice to do because we just held on to the very end for that game. So it's a long day. I mean, I was worn out. The kids were worn out, but, they left it on the field, and we're happy to be here again, so super pumped.
Yeah, second consecutive year you're in the semifinals. And then Mountlake Terrace, Coach Andrew Waters, you guys getting it done with pitching last week.
Oh, yeah. Tanner Bowe and Kendall Yackley just gave us great starts last week. And as a team, we just played great defense behind them all day for both games. And I couldn't have been happier with how we played last weekend. And it was great to watch, and it was a great day for us.
Well, it was a great weekend for Wesco 3A and really Wesco in general, but really your conference, the two of you, your team's tied for second place this year because, again, Mount Lake Terrace doesn't branch off until we get to district play. So your two teams tying for second place behind Meadowdale. And I think it's fair to say, Dan, that maybe a little bit of a shocker to a lot of people. I don't think anybody was really thinking in terms of Edmonds Woodway or Mount Lake Terrace is getting to the state semifinals this year. Talk about that journey and what it's been like for you and your team and just kind of surprising the world right now.
Yeah, well, it started off a little rough here at the beginning, but and that's the fun part about high school baseball is teams get hot at the right time of the year. Anything can happen. And our team really bonded here towards the middle, towards the end. And things just took off. We beat some really good teams just by playing baseball and having fun. So it's been real fun to see a team come together that wasn't necessarily expected to go anywhere, but they believed otherwise. And so they've kept that belief throughout the whole entire year. So, and our Wesco League is really tough. So it prepares us for state. And it makes everything a lot easier when we go into these big, huge state games. So I'm pretty happy about that.
Andrew, for you, for Mount Lake Terrace, you've been at the helm now for 20 years?
This is my 19th.
19th year. You've never gotten to the state semifinal. You've been in the quarterfinals, I think, 2 or 3 different times. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think one year, I think it was Federal Way. I'm trying to do this off the top of my head where I think they beat you in the 7th inning of a game and you came oh so close. What is it like for you to finally be able to say that you've made it to a state semifinal?
It's great, and it's just great for our kids and for our program, and just an honor to finally get through that state regional that's so hard to win. And yeah, we've had our shots, and I think this is my personally as the coach our 7th trip to state this year, and we finally got through that regional weekend. But it was fun. It was such a blast on last Saturday, and it takes 2 people that don't know how the baseball tournament works. You got to win 2 games on that regional day, and it's just tough. It's tough to do. So we were just happy to do it finally. And for me as the coach at Mount Lake Terrace, watching Edmonds Woodway and Meadowdale and Shorewood all over the years, they've all made it, and so it was finally our turn to punch our ticket.
Very nice. Now both of you are in the semifinals tomorrow. Dan, Edmonds Woodway is taking on Kelso. Tell us a little bit about your opponent at 4 p.m. in Pasco tomorrow.
Well, if you could give me some information, that would be great. We don't know a lot about Kelso just because we don't play him, and people I know don't know much about him. So, but at this point of the year, everyone in the Final Four is going to be really good, and it comes down to playing catch, throwing strikes, and putting the ball in play. So we're just excited to get out here and have an opportunity to compete, and super excited for Andrew too at Terrace. Highly respect their program, and hopefully we both come out on top. That's the plan.
We should mention the other side of that bracket. It's Eastside Catholic versus Southridge. So the winner of those 2 games playing in the championship at 7 p.m. on Saturday. And then, Andrew, we flip over to the 2A side of things. The 10 a.m. game is WF West versus Ellensburg. And then you play West Valley at 1 p.m. Do we know anything about them?
Not a lot. Kind of like Dan's probably experiencing. I mean, we're playing teams from different regions in our state, and we don't have a lot of common opponents at this time, and you just kind of know what you can dig up and read, and all I know is everybody's good. I mean, it's the 4 best teams in 2A baseball in Yakima, and I think Ellensburg is the defending state champion, and I think that the team we're playing, West Valley, they're a traditional good baseball program that just wins every year, and we're just going to go play our best baseball and see what happens.
And Andrew, I'd be remiss if I don't mention this. Also a big week for you guys in the sense that Mount Lake Terrace last week was named the academic state champions. That's got to be a big deal.
It is, and that was very cool. And for me, a little unexpected. I just I knew that we had great students on our baseball team, but I wasn't really expecting that. It's just a tip of the hat to the boys who do the work and their teachers that provide them a good education at Mount Lake Terrace, and their parents that we have a bunch of boys that have their priorities right. So it was a cool award, and and it's a great honor for the boys to go, and we're going to actually go pick that award up in person in Yakima. So that's pretty cool.
Very cool indeed. We hope you have to bring a couple trophies back. So Andrew Waters, Dan Samoza, Mountlake Terrace, and Edmonds Woodway. You guys know I have a great deal of admiration for both of you, and I am hoping for nothing but the best for both of your programs. And would be nice to get a couple state championship trophies this weekend, maybe, guys.
Absolutely. Good luck, Dan.
Go get them, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.
There you go. Those are
Thanks, Steve.
There you go. Coaches, Andrew Waters of Mountlake Terrace, Dan Samoza of Edmonds Woodway, hoping to pick up some hardware over in Eastern Washington. And now let's talk about a little bit of softball. We bring in Kyle Peacock of Jackson and Lou Kennedy of Snohomish. Coach Kennedy, where are we speaking to you now as we pick up the phone?
Oh, we are already down in Lacey.
We figured you might be down there. Okay.
Yeah, I get a little workout.
And you've got a noon game tomorrow, but there are games at 9 a.m. So do you get up early in the morning and go watch some of those games, or do you keep the girls?
That's what assistant coaches are for. I mean, come on. No, I got to round up all the girls, and so yeah, we probably will have somebody watch a couple games, but realistically, I got my hands full already.
So what is the itinerary for tonight? What are you doing with the girls down there right now? Are you just trying to get them to kind of stay loose and take them out to dinner?
Yeah, we did a light workout on the field just because it's a different kind of field. It's all turf infield and grass outfield. And then just something easy to get used to it. And we're about to load up and go for dinner right now. So it's pretty good. It's beautiful down there.
Yeah, a great place to play softball. And
great complex.
Yeah, indeed. And Coach Peacock, Spokane, I'm assuming you're already there?
Yeah, I am. I'm actually, there's probably some road noise. We are walking to dinner right now. I'm on the Riverwalk. Okay.
Where are we going?
We're going to Luigi's, an Italian restaurant.
Oh, now you made me hungry.
But by the way, Coach Peacock, we should point out Kyle Peacock, the head coach for Jackson. Your boss is in studio with us right now too. Robert Polk is sitting directly across from us. So
all right.
So we'll let him know that the bill is to be expected later on. You'll make sure you grab a receipt for that.
All right.
Hey guys, both of you've been here before. You know a thing or two about state tournaments. You've both gotten here. Well, you've gotten here because you have really good teams, but really you have dominant pitchers. How important is a dominant softball pitcher at this level going into a weekend like this where you might have to rely on them for four plus games over the course of 2 days? Maybe we'll start off with you, Lou. Tell me a little bit about what that means to have that pitcher.
Well, it means a lot. I mean, 2 years ago when we went 4A, we rode Alyssa's arm till it fell off. And you've got to have the one with the right approach, the one with the mental toughness, because there's always going to be one or two bad moments or bad innings where it's up to her to just kind of pick it up and make sure that she stays focused and stays in her game. Kyle's got a great one, and Ice is knockdown, drag out, tough, and so he's going to be in good shape. I think we're in good shape with Bailey too.
So Kyle, do you have another pitcher ready to go? I mean, again, it's underhand motion, so it's a little bit different than a baseball player, but at the same time, you still do have to worry about fatigue, right? So in the course of 24 hours or 30-something hours when you're playing, again, if you end up in that consolation bracket, it might be 5 or 6 games. Do you have to have other pitchers ready to go just in case?
Oh, absolutely. It's a tough deal. 2 years ago when Sophie Frost was a senior, we had a tough game, lost to Woodinville in the first game, and we had to go and play 2 more games Friday night. And then we had to win 2 Saturday just to get to the third place game. And so I actually had to use Ice for a couple innings and Maddie Podner. So their kids are ready to go, but like Lou said, you got to have that number one, and she's got to be on her game and mentally ready. And I think Ice is ready for it.
Talk a little bit about your district runs. Both of you were district champs this year of 3A and 4A. Lou, I know it was a big deal for some of the girls on your team, and we had them in studio with you not too long ago, and that was something that was certainly high on their checklist because even the year you won the state championship, they didn't win districts. You finally got that title. Talk a little bit about that tournament recently.
Yeah, Kyle's got a lot to do with us not always winning districts, I got to tell you. They're great games. They're the best games we ever had, so it's always fun. But no, it does mean a lot. I mean, it's a stepping stone like anything else. It's something you get to put in the trophy case. These girls will be able to bring their kids by and say, hey, look at mom's picture or grandma's picture. So they are big. I mean, they're huge. We've only had one other district championship in the school history, so it was kind of an important step for them. Also helped remind them that how well they can play and how sharp they can be against really good competition.
Give them that extra confidence going into state.
You bet.
And then, Kyle, for you, you're probably running out of room to put these trophies in, right? I know another big tournament for you, another victory. So tell me a little bit about how important that was to get that motivation and that momentum going into the state.
Well, I think, winning the district championships are nice, and, it's a big deal for the kids and for the school. But, we'd like to get some hardware from the state tournament. We got fourth 2 years ago, and that's the ultimate goal. That's what you play for. You got to play your best for 4 games, and it would mean the world to Jackson High School and these kids.
Okay, so let's look at your first round opponents tomorrow. Lou, we'll start with you. You're playing Gig Harbor at noon. Again, this is down in Lacey. Do we know anything about Gig Harbor?
Yeah, we played them last year. They were a really good defensive team. We did handle them, but they have a big turnover. They've got quite a few new faces. I got to watch them play a game last weekend. Good pitching in that they spin the ball really well, and I didn't see an error in a whole game, so that's always going to be tough when someone can play good defense on you. So ideally, if we're hitting the ball well, we'll put some pressure on them, see what we can do with that.
And do we know who some of the teams to beat are maybe in the 3A level? I know we asked you that a couple weeks ago in studio, and you were still focusing on districts. But now that you've had a chance to look, who are we watching right now?
Top dog right now in my mind would have to be Redmond. Returning almost an entire state championship team. Very talented, very fast, great pitching. They hit the ball a ton. Along with them, you've got Bonnie Lake, who's got, maybe right parallel with ice, one of the best pitchers in the whole state. She's really difficult to get the ball in play on. Those two off the top of my head. And then we've still got Marysville on our side of the bracket. We've had 1-run and 2-run games with them, so who knows what happens there.
Well, and Redmond and Bonnie Lake are both on the other side of the bracket, so you don't have to see either one of them until the state championship game. Very nicely done.
All right with me.
And then when we turn our attention to 4A over in Spokane, Jackson is playing Kentwood at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Tell us a little bit about the Conquerors.
I don't know a ton. I mean, I've never seen them play. We have some kids on our team that have some teammates on that team. But quite honestly, I don't know a whole lot about them, other than they have a very good record, and they're at the state tournament. We're expecting a good game, and just taking things one pitch at a time.
Same question we asked Lou a minute ago. Do we know who the teams to beat are in 4A right now, or who we think might be the top tier teams?
Well, I think Richland. I think Richland is there almost every year. We've played them the last couple of years. They have a senior pitcher and a lot of kids that have been there. They're definitely one of the favorites. And then Puyallup, who we could see potentially in the second round. They were in the state championship game last year against Woodinville.
Lou, you just chimed in a minute ago, so you know a thing or two about 4A softball. Does Jackson have a legitimate chance of winning this thing?
Oh, absolutely, without a doubt.
I mean, your only blemish of the year was to this very team, right? So you know a thing or two about them.
I know what they're capable of, and Kyle will have them ready. He's a very good coach. I admire him very much.
Well, certainly we wish you guys nothing but the best. Again, outstanding seasons thus far. You've both only lost one game all year, and we're hoping that continues to be the case as you head into Saturday. And best of luck to both of you down there.
Thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Good luck, Kyle.
There you go. Kyle Peacock of Jackson, Lou Kennedy of Snohomish. That's a trip around the state of Washington.
Definitely. I said down there, but one of them's over there, right? One of them's in Spokane and one's in Lacey. The Lacey State Tournament, I've been down there a couple of times now. That's a fantastic place to watch softball. And if anybody gets a chance and wants to go see some really high caliber action this weekend, don't be afraid to make a trip down there.
You bet. There you go. So that is our Coaches Carousel. We'll come back. We're going to talk Everett School District athletics and
football in the next
football
segment.
Especially. Here we go. We'll be back with more Prep Sports Weekly on Fox Sports 1380 FM 95.3.
Chinook Lumber, reframing the building landscape, and a Northwest legend for more than 20 years, is also a proud sponsor of Westville High School football and basketball. Chinook Lumber supports its fine student athletes and applauds them for the time and effort they put forth and wish them nothing but the best. Chinook salutes the young girls and boys striving hard to reach their personal and team goals. Chinook Lumber in Snohomish, North Bend, and Arlington, and the go-to place for decking, fencing, windows, doors, and more. Find them online at ChinookLumber.com.
Hey sports fans, do you want to know when and where your favorite teams in the West Coast Conference are playing? Who won the game last night and what the current standings are? Well, it's easy to find out on westcoathletics.com. The information is entered by athletic directors and coaches, so you know it's accurate and up to date, making westcoathletics.com the place to view official scores, schedules, standings, and photos for all the schools and all the sports in the West Coast Conference. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook and check out westcoathletics.com, the official website of the West Coast Conference.
Are you tired of going to the same old places for lunch, dinner, or after the game? Well, if you're looking for a great deal on a great meal, head to the Buzz Inn Steakhouse. You can enjoy their signature breakfast Monday through Friday till 10:30 a.m. for just $4.99. Weekdays 11 till 1, get a deluxe burger and fries for only $6.99. And Monday night is steak night with a 6-ounce top sirloin and potato with salad for just $9.99. The Buzz Inn has 11 locations to serve you, including the corner of Broadway and Pacific Avenues in downtown Everett.
Ordering a battery online delivered to your front door can be a rough journey. Well, that's 40 to 50 pounds of what now? Well, first there's the fit, then the installation, and then what about the core? The law requires us to take your core in exchange. Well, who knows what they'll do? Well, what if your problem wasn't the battery or you screw up your car? What now? Dang, it's raining. At Pacific Power Batteries, we're trained to help you. If you don't need a battery, then we won't sell one to you. It's been the right thing to do since 1985.
Major things are happening at Major League Pizza in Everett. Major League Pizza is expanding its dining area so you can bring the whole team to enjoy Everett's favorite pizza, premium grinders, and delicious salads. Their all-star lineup of gourmet pizzas include the Grand Salami, Major League Clubhouse, the Shoeless Joe, and with the new expansion in 2018 comes the New Deal. Right now, get any large 3-topping pizza with an order of breadsticks for only $20.18 at Major League Pizza on Colby Avenue in Everett. Online at MajorLeaguePizza.com. Good people and the good hands go together, like Allstate and Brian Reed of the Brian Reed Agency. Brian has lived and worked in Snohomish County for over 20 years. He takes the time to get to know folks, what's important to them, and how best to protect it all without wasting a dime of their hard-earned money. That's why he works with Allstate. They help him protect the people he cares about with affordable policies designed around individual needs. Call Brian Reed at the Brian Reed Agency today, 425-337-4646.
Prep Sports Weekly continues here on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3. Tom Lafferty along with Steve Willits. We've had our coaches carousel with some softball and baseball coaches that are set to do battle for some state championships. Now let's talk to a couple of coaches and athletic director would like to bring some state championships home too. Some coaches and athletic, well, I was going to say athletic director, but he's got athletes to worry about this week. But the coaches who don't have to worry about anything on the field for a few months anyway, right? It's time to talk a little football, new football coaches. You bet. I guess we should introduce the athletic director first, Robert Polk. Robert, thanks for coming in tonight.
Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And you've been a busy guy lately. I know the month of May is always busy for you with all these different sports going on, but it also sometimes means that you have to do some hiring this time of year to get ready for next year already.
Hiring season has been full. That is definitely true. On top of the hiring, we've had district and regional baseball tournaments, middle school track meets, a number of end-of-year events that we're planning for. So May's kind of a blur, and I look forward to June. And now the sport that obviously a lot of people pay a lot of attention to, it's the high-end sport in terms of notoriety, and certainly when we do shows, we take a lot more phone calls and get many more listens and hits when we talk football. So it's always kind of king in this area. And you had to hire not one but two football coaches this offseason. Kind of a rarity for you. We've had a few coaches in particular. I know obviously at Jackson you haven't had to worry about that for a while with Joel Vincent over there. But what is that like when you have to get ready to hire two new coaches for two separate schools? And tell us a little bit about the criteria and what you're looking for. Yeah, so chasing down good quality coaches is a high priority for all athletic directors, and sometimes we are competing for the same people. Turned out this time around that we had two great candidates who, one in Jordan C., who's been a lifer at Cascade as a student and now as a teacher and coach, and then David Coldiron, who was looking in our area because his parents live in the Monroe area. and this kind of fell in our lap. And so the legwork that we typically put in to recruit to find high quality candidates, we didn't have to do as much of that. So we're very blessed to have this opportunity with these guys.
And kind of a special night for us. We get to meet both of them right here. One of them is sitting right across from me. So Jordan C., who, as Robert just mentioned, they didn't have to go very far to find you. You're an alum. You played on the football team. You work in the school. And, oh, by the way, you've been on the coaching staff for a few years. First of all, congratulations on getting the job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And talk a little bit about what this means to you, not only as somebody who works in the building, but somebody who's played for that football team. It's got to be a thrill of a lifetime to coach at your alma mater.
Yeah, it really is. I'm really thankful and really blessed. And that school has had a huge impact on my life and who I am as a man. And to kind of be able to come full circle and be the head football coach, it's just an amazing opportunity. And I'm excited to get going. Feel like I've been ready for this for a long time, and we're going to get going soon. So
give us your full circle. Where have you coached before? What's your after you left Cascade? Here's what I did.
Yeah, so I joined the United States Army right out of high school. Served in a special operations unit. Did a few tours to the Middle East, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and I just had some great coaches and teachers that really kind of inspired me to come back to teaching. I was lucky enough to start coaching 9th grade football there. I did it for 5 years, and then I moved up to JV. And then last season I was the offensive coordinator, and when the job opened up, I just felt the timing was great and the timing was right, and I was ready to go. So,
was this something that you had been thinking of all along? I mean, obviously you're working under Shane Keck, and you never know when a coach is going to decide to move on and do something different. Had you had conversations with Coach Keck? Had you been picking his brain in anticipation that, hey, one of these days this job might open up and I would like to apply for it? Talk us through a little bit of that process and what that's like.
You know, Shane Keck's an unbelievable head coach, and that guy's going to do amazing things in the future. And just to be able to work under him for the 3 years that I did, I learned so much about the game. And I feel like really after last season, I felt like I could be a head football coach of a high-level program. And I wasn't expecting to be in the position I am now. I'm very thankful that I am. That was kind of unexpected, but really, I felt really prepared. The amount of knowledge about football that he has, I don't know if anybody knows more football than Shane Keck. Kind of saw what it took to be a great head coach, how to handle a staff, how to handle parents, how to handle players, and do the whole thing. So just to be kind of like almost like an apprentice program, kind of working for Coach Keck. And then when the job opened up, I felt ready to go, and it's been great.
Now, David Coldiron is the new head coach at Everett High School. Coach, where are we talking to you at right now?
Well, I'm sitting in lovely Central Valley of California. I'm actually in a town called Porterville right now.
What's the temperature?
Well, we're in the 80s, and we're supposed to expect the hundreds next week.
Oh, you're going to love it up here.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to miss the triple digits. Let me tell you, I won't miss that at all. It's talk about practice. That's interesting when it's, hitting 105 and 106 when you're practicing.
Yeah, no, thank you. They can keep the weather down there. We're going to have you come up and join us, but leave that behind.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad to.
Well, hey, Coach, congratulations on getting the job at Everett. We're excited to get a chance to meet you up here and hopefully the short future. But first and foremost, give us your background. Talk a little bit about your journey, if you will, all the way to from California all the way up to Everett.
Well, like Mr. Polk said, I was looking at that area for a while, and I really just didn't want any job. I really wanted a good quality job, a school that I thought really fit me. And I've been watching for a while, and I really kind of, for me personally, I looked at that Everett, and I thought, you know what, this would be a really great spot for me. It's not too far from my family in Monroe, and the school just really fits me because it reminds me of my high school. I went to Van Nuys High School. It was a 3A school, roughly about the same size student body, and had that same old school building that was built back in the early 1900s. And just when I walk down the hallways, it just feels like my school, and it has that same mix of cultures and everything that I grew up with. So I was really excited about that. So I was really looking for the right opportunity, and fortunately it came along. Background-wise, I've been a head coach. Let's see, I think I have 16 years of head coaching experience now, I think, off the top of my head. I've been in Southern California. I coached in Oregon for a short bit, and spent even a little bit of time at the junior college level at Pasadena City College, where I was lucky enough to compete for a national championship as a coach at the junior college level. So got to coach some really special young men that went on to play in Florida and USC and Cal and on that Desert Swarm team at the University of Arizona back in the day, and So I've been coaching for a while, and my father actually was a coach for almost 40 years, was a football coach. So I kind of grew up in it. But there was a short period of time where I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go out in the private sector and do something different, because everybody kept telling me I was gonna be, you're gonna be just like your old man. You're gonna be just like your old man. I kind of was like, no, I'm gonna be me. And so I went out in the private sector and I actually had a very successful career in that. But I just, at the end of the day, it didn't suit me the way coaching did. I missed coaching. I missed teaching. I missed working with young people and just seeing the light bulb come on. And so it just, at the ripe young age of 37, I decided to make a full move into teaching and coaching. And so here I am. And I decided, you know what? I miss my family, want to be near them. And yes, I'm done with 105 and 110. So I kept looking for that, like I said, that right opportunity ever came along, and I'm excited about it.
Robert, how did you hit a home run with two guys?
Sometimes you just get lucky. Yeah, when both positions came open, we posted them in our usual places, and on our district website and on the WIA website. And with David, he was obviously a shot out of the dark. In fact, if I remember right, some of our administrators went to the teaching job fair down at the Tacoma Dome, and I believe David visited there, left his resume, and actually left it with an assistant principal from Cascade. Cascade contacted the principal at Everett High School, Lance Balla, and from there the stars aligned and we got things moving. And through the interview process, David definitely shined brighter than the other candidates we had, and the kids were very excited about David. And additionally, when we had Everett High School hosted a meet and greet for David a few weeks ago, there's quite a buzz going around. David has already made an impact and an impression on the parents and the kids, and as soon as he can get here and get things on rolling, I think good things are going to be happening for Everett High football. And then with Jordan, of course, he's already in the building, and he's had the experiences of great success back when the last time Cascade High School football went to the semifinals. Jordan was part of that team. He knows what winning looks like as a Bruin. And so he has those memories. And as he said, learning from Shane Keck and other coaches that he's used as mentors, he's got his feet going forward in the right direction. And just his leadership ability is what everyone talks about, his ability to connect with kids and teach them and talk to them about life in general. Our kids are very happy to have Jordan as their head coach, and they're very fortunate to have him as their head coach.
I'm kind of curious what the team's going to look like next year. Jordan, we've been watching wing T offense for the last few years over at Cascade, and I've already had people ask me, do you think they're going to continue to run wing T? My response was, well, he was the offensive coordinator. Now, I don't know if that was a Shane Keck thing or a Jordan C thing, but what are we going to expect to see from the Bruins?
Or a Terry Ennis thing.
Oh, yeah, that too. It's been a while, though.
Yeah, so we're definitely running the wing T, and when Coach Ennis brought it into the late 80s, it just feels like it's kind of the home of the wing T here in the state of Washington. I know some other schools run it as well. J.Q. Zinga, my former head coach, is on staff. Our offensive line coach played in the wing T over at Mariner. I played in the wing T, and so it's a pretty unique group of guys that know this offense inside and out. We're very multiple. And everybody goes spread nowadays. So we try to be the Stanford of Wesco. Once a year you got to prep for us, and we're pretty dynamic with how we do it. I think sometimes people think it's a little vanilla and things like that, but it's really tough to handle. We got a lot of good running backs, get some linemen that can get off the ball, and I love it and we love it, and we're all in for it.
So Coach Coldiron, you taking notes? You guys play each other
first game.
First game.
I think I remember something about August 31st. I remember that.
That's the day. Absolutely. Well, hey, what about the Seagulls now? Because I remember a couple years ago when Murdoch Rutledge was playing quarterback, they were throwing the ball all over the place. And then I go watch an Everett Seagulls game last year. I think it was against Meadowdale. I want to say the first 31 offensive plays of the game for Everett were running plays. What is your philosophy, Coach? Or is it more, are you going to fit it to your personnel?
Well, number one, that's one thing I've learned is, back in the junior college days, we had a system and we went out and found guys that could fit that system. It is a little bit different, especially at a public high school. It's a little bit different animal, but, I do. The other thing I've also learned is the fact I got to do, and that's what Coach was just talking about. What can your coaches teach? And it sounds like he's got a great group of guys that can do some wing tee. So that's the other thing is, I'm still finishing up my staff, so I can't give you all the answers on that. But that's one of the things I'm looking at is what are my coaches good at? What can they do? And then what can we fit our personnel to? My personality, I do like to throw the ball a little bit. So, hopefully you'll see the ball in the air, at least more than a couple times while I'm there.
And how are you going about filling out your staff? Obviously, being down in California, probably a little more difficult. Is it something you're going to kind of wait and do once you get up here? Have you already been making inquiries to people? Might we see some people on the staff from Coach Trainer's coaching staff?
Well, I've been full steam, and I got to tell you that the administrative staff over at Everett High School has just been super. Doug Plucker is he's a gem, and he just works really hard to help out. And Lance Balla is really great, very supportive, and Bruce Overstreet, they're really great. And everybody at Everett's been just so supportive of what we're doing, and everybody's got their hands out, and we're all looking. And I do know a few guys up in that area, so I've been asking around. We do have some people lined up for interviews, but we haven't interviewed them yet. We're hoping to do that in the next day or two, actually. If not tomorrow, then early next week. So we do have some people tagged, but we still need to interview them. So I really can't say too much more than that about it.
So who lives in Monroe that you know?
Well, my mom did. Unfortunately, my father passed away about 10 years ago, but my mom lives there, and then my sister lives there, and with my nephew is getting ready to graduate from Monroe High School in a couple weeks, and then I have a niece at Monroe, and then I have another niece who'll be hitting Monroe in another few years. So my family's been in the Monroe area for about 15 years. So I've been visiting. I've been doing a lot of driving between California and Monroe for the last 15 or 20 years.
Okay, I'm going to steal a question that I got from an athletic director who once told me recently that when he interviews football coaches, he likes to ask them who they like to model themselves after as far as another coach. Is there somebody for you? I'll start off with Jordan on this one. Who do you look at as a coach that you look up to maybe professionally or collegiately that we might know, and who maybe you model yourself after?
Yeah, I really look up to Coach Peterson of the University of Washington, the way he carries himself, how he treats every day like it's the most important day of the season, how there's a standard that has to be met, and that you play to a standard, you don't play to the scoreboard. And he means it when he says it. One of the best quotes I heard him say was they're asking him how big the Alabama game was a couple of years ago, and he says, every game's big. If every game wasn't big, what were you doing the whole time? So, I really respect that guy, and, that type of approach where every day is the most important day, that Monday is just as important as Friday nights. And I want to instill that into my kids. And once you got that, you got something special. So that's my approach, just, on Tuesday when we start spring, and then hopefully many years down the road as well.
Okay. Coach Coldiron, what about you?
First of all, great coach, great choice, Coach Peterson. That's a great choice. He is a fine coach. Like I said, I was lucky. I grew up with a football coach in my house, my father, and I got to play for him. I got to, coach with him. In fact, I had him on my staff at one point, and the standards that he always set for myself and for the rest of my teammates has always taught me how to set high standards and to keep reaching and keep striving to be the best you can be. And every week is a new week, and you need to line up and take each week seriously. And so, I really look at, my father and say, what, I'd like to reach and get to some of those milestones and goals that he has. So I do admire him, and I've always, tried to model myself a little bit after him.
Coach C, talk about recruiting, because there's no secret. Numbers are going down in football teams. Do you have to recruit in the hallways, right?
Absolutely. No, that's, and again, I'll tell you, my father taught me that. I mean, I watched him do it at my own high school, walking the halls and getting guys involved. So that is an important thing of what we do, because a lot of kids nowadays do not grow up playing as much football as they did in the past. And, there's a lot of media out there talking about things that aren't so, positive about the game of football. But, I look at all the things it gave me and what it not only gave me, but gave some of my friends. I mean, like I said, my father was our coach, and it gave my friends a lot of really wonderful things. And I still have friends tell me how much they thank my father, who was their coach, for doing things for them. And that keeps me motivated to tap on another shoulder and say, hey, have you ever thought about playing some football? Because you're right, we have to be in those hallways. We have to be in recruiting, and that's what I really appreciated about that administrative staff over at Everett High School, because they knew how important it was to have a guy in building, and they've worked really hard to get me a teaching position there so I can walk the hallways and talk to people and get them involved.
Jordan, you're already in the hallway at Cascade, so tell us a little bit.
By the way, this is going to be confusing because we have a Coach C and a Coach C.
Right, I thought about that as soon as we started talking. I know you intended that for Jordan C, and then the other Coach C, Cold Iron stepped in. That was beautiful.
Now we'll go to Jordan.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing as a high school football coach or a high school coach in general. I mean, I teach world history, and so, might be talking about the Cold War or World War II or some modern things going on in the world today, and then you can connect with the player X's and O's up on the board. And so I think when they build that trust with you as a teacher and they respect you as who you are as a teacher, that can really respond to wanting to play football for you as well. And obviously the close proximity of being there day in and day out, getting to know the kids, their faces, it's huge. And like you said, a lot of schools don't have a ton of depth. And so even if it's a couple guys you can get out, it's huge. And that's the difference between winning some games sometimes, because football is a game of attrition. Any good coach will tell you that. And you need guys out there and be 2-3 deep at every position. So,
Robert, how important is it to have the head coach in the building?
It's immeasurable. Both David and Jordan touched on it. When a student athlete can see their coach on a regular basis walking down the hallway, that connects the athletics to the academics. And we talk about student athletes, and we really emphasize the student part of that in the Everett School District. And so when our coaches are part of that academic team and the kids actually see them as part of that team, that really strengthens the connection. And on top of that, as Jordan touched on, we got to try to pluck a couple basketball players, a couple baseball players, a couple track athletes, kids who maybe never thought of putting on a helmet and shoulder pads, and give them the opportunity, in the spring, particularly when it's, a little more controlled, and give them a little confidence and ease them into it in the fall. Sometimes those kids didn't realize they could be really good football players. I'm kind of an example of that. I didn't start playing football till I was a junior, and I got pressured into it by the head football coach, Ed Fisher, and it was the best thing I could have ever done for myself. So yeah, having those coaches in the hallways, getting assistant coaches in the hallways, it builds a strong program.
Answering a lot of questions that he went to South Kitsap.
That's right. Hey, I'm just going to say it right now. I mean, it remains to be seen what David and Jordan are going to do in their coaching tenures at these two schools. But as of right now, Robert, I think you did an outstanding job. I'm liking the fact that both of these guys just come off extremely well, and Jordan certainly at his alma mater, and I think David's going to bring some great things to Everett. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do this fall.
Absolutely, we're looking forward to it as well.
Well, coaches, thanks for being with us.
One quick shout out. How about that golf team over there at Everett, number 2 in the state, huh?
Absolutely. We were going to look at you, Coach. I like it. You are getting in good with the Seagull Nation already. I love it.
And don't forget Nick. He's a golfer and he's one of our football players.
There you go.
There you go. And Andrew Martin finishing 7th in state. The team was 2nd this year. So nicely done, Coach. You're off on the right foot.
Oh, hey, we're all about that Seagull Nation.
Well, we look forward to having you up here as part of that Seagull Nation, and hopefully we'll get to meet you in person here very soon.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
You bet. There you go. That is Jordan C. of Cascade and David Coldiron of Everett, the new football coaches. We're going to come back. We'll talk a little bit more with Robert Polk here as we wrap it up here on a Thursday night. Prep Sports Weekly on Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3.
Aqua Sox baseball.
Swing and a drive deep left field. If it's fair, it's gone. It is gone. Do you love to entertain your family, friends, or co-workers but can't find an affordable and entertaining venue? The Everett Aqua Sox can host groups from 20 to 2,000. Picnic options include an all-you-can-eat buffet, upper box seats, and Major League hospitality. For information, visit aquasox.com.
Snohomish PUD has been your community energy partner for over 65 years. That's why your PUD is a proud supporter of broadcasting Western Conference high school athletics in our community. Congrats to our local student athletes for excelling in sports and academics. It takes smarts to save, and your PUD offers smart ways to help you save energy and lower your bill. PUD can help you save with instant rebates on energy-saving home improvements and special prices on efficient home products. Check out their website at snopud.com, snopud.com for more smart rewards, smart rebates, and smart ideas.
One for the road? What'd that last drink cost you? Thousands of dollars in legal and court costs, your license, and possibly your job when you're arrested for driving drunk. The Snohomish County DUI and Target Zero Task Force reminds you that law enforcement is out protecting everyone from drunk drivers. So drink responsibly and don't take a chance, because chances are you're going to get caught. Designate a sober driver, get a car service, call a cab, or even take a bus. You drink and drive, you're going to lose. This message brought to you by the Snohomish County DUI and Target Zero Task Force.
Justice is easy if you know what to do. Call 800-LAW-0842.
Russell and Hill are proud sponsors of the Fox Sports 1380 and FM 95.3 High School Boys and Girls Athletes of the Year. Professional, personal, proven attorneys. Russell and Hill.
Russell and Hill will fight for you. Call 800-LAW-0842.
Since 1967, Snohomish County has looked to Glass by Lund when they needed glass. Did you know that Glass by Lund also helps with vinyl, aluminum, and wood windows, custom shower doors, deck railings, skylights, glass tabletops, mirrors, and all your custom glass needs? Their competitive pricing, quality installation, and the ability to meet stringent deadlines has earned Glass by Lund a top-notch reputation. Family-owned since 1967. On the web at glassbylund.com. Glass by Lund. More than just glass.
When an honest handshake seals the deal, you're dealing with Vander Yacht Propane. From their roots in Linden, Washington, Vander Yacht Propane has grown to provide quality services from Canada to I-90, commercial, industrial, and residential. From filling up your existing tanks to tank rentals, above ground and below ground installation, and 24/7 emergency delivery, Whatcom, Skagit, Snohomish, and Island counties are fueled by Vander Yacht Propane. Trusted, family owned and operated. Learn more at vanderyachtpropane.com.
When you shop at Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens, you not only find what you need, we make sure you get the help you need too. Hi, this is Gray Eaglestead, and I own Lake Stevens Ace Hardware with my wife Christine.
We'll greet you at the door and answer any questions you have about what you need. We're all about serving our customers and our community.
We support local high school sports and many other Lake Stevens organizations and events throughout the year.
So the next time you need something for that job around the house and a little friendly advice, come see us.
Ace Hardware in Lake Stevens. We are the helpful hardware folks.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware folks.
We continue on a Thursday night, Prep Sports Weekly on Fox Sports 1380, FM 95.3. Tom Lafferty, Steve Willits, and we'll tell you that tonight's show brought to you in part by the Buzz Inn Steakhouse, the Lake Stevens Ace Hardware Store, by Major League Pizza, Snohomish County DUI Task Force, and by Chinook Lumber.
I was just telling Robert Polk, I wish this was like an hour and a half show, because I've got like 8 different things I'd love to talk to him about, but we have about 9 minutes. So where to begin? I know we wanted to talk field turf, right?
Robert, tell us about how the whole field turf thing came to being down at this baseball field. I think it's an interesting story.
Yeah, so I'll say 5, 6, 7 years ago, the field went through a renovation project, and with that we replaced the grass with grass and dirt and try to get the field up to Major League standards for the Everett Aqua Sox. And within a couple years, we started noticing some problems, and basically what it came down to was the soil, sand, rocks, gravel, all those things that, as part of the base, started to compact, which meant the water had no place to go. And we were able to kind of muscle through most springs. As you know, it gets a little wet around here in the springtime. And
don't tell David Coldiron that.
He's looking forward to it, though, I'm sure. Yeah. Then about 2 years ago, we got maybe half a season on the field. And then in the spring of 2017, the Everett High School baseball team had 0 practices on their baseball field. All their practices were on the artificial turf football field and the batting cage. And they played all their games at whatever field we could find. And of course, the spring during the construction, they were on the road again. I got to give great thanks to the Shoreline School District and the district athletic director Don Dalziel. They helped us out quite a bit because they have 3 artificial turf baseball fields for their only 2 high schools. So he's kind of living fat down there. But anyway, we benefited from that. So last spring, when we realized the field was just beyond repair, we tried a little bit of everything. Our superintendent, Dr. Gary Cohn, started looking around to see where we could find some funds. We had some money in our capital fund, which is designed or allocated for such projects, building schools, whatever it might be. He also had to go around to some different budgets to try to pull some money together. But he also approached the Everett Aqua Sox for some help, and we happened to also earn a grant from the Snohomish County of about $300,000 that was intended for renovations of the baseball stadium. And so with all those partners together, we were able to go beyond just replacing it with more dirt and grass and step it up to the next level to get an artificial turf field. And the very first night of district playoffs, it paid its dividends right away. We played our first game without any incident. We got to about the 7th inning and the rain started to come. As soon as the game ended, there's a huge deluge. We covered the mound. We covered the plate area because those are still both dirt areas. We waited for about an hour and a half. The clouds parted. We pulled the tarps off. We played our second game, and there's no way we could have done that if we had the natural grass and dirt. So it was fantastic.
What is the partnership like between the school district and the Aqua Sox? Because I've got to think there are a lot of pro sports teams out there that might have just said, well, let's just sit back and see if they'll pay for the entire thing and we won't chip in. But I know that there seems to be a pretty close relationship between the two. Talk a little bit about how that's made it easier in this process.
Yeah, the Everett Aqua Sox are basically a tenant of the Everett School District. They rent the field from us. We have a user agreement with them. But they've also been a great partner. They help support us in different things. Our school reading program, they always donate money and have athletes come in and talk to kids, as one example. And so we work closely with Danny Tetzloff. Just met with him the other day to talk about what other facility upgrades and needs we have to make their fan experience the best it can be, which is obviously a few steps above what we do at the high school level. They pay rent, and through this process, we basically reach an agreement where they're front loading some of their rent money to help us pay for the field right now. And so with that, they have a few more perks. They're going to host a couple summer tournaments this year at the field, which has not been permitted in the past. So that's an opportunity for them to recoup a few dollars. But again, their willingness, Pat Filippone is the owner of the Everett Aqua Sox, along with 2 other minor league programs. He was a very helpful partner in all this, and we greatly appreciate them.
Just curious, as we start to shift again towards the Everett School District, talk a little bit about your job in terms of, and we touched upon it earlier, how many teams do you oversee? How many schools are there? How many sports? Give us kind of a rundown as to what the life of a Everett School District athletic director is.
In Everett, we have our 3 comprehensive high schools, Everett, Cascade, and Jackson. We also have 5 middle schools, which feed into our high schools. At the middle level, we have 8 sports balanced between boys and girls, softball in the fall, track, and so on. At the high school level, we have about 18 different sport opportunities for our kids. And so my primary job as the district athletic director is to help support the building athletic directors who are also assistant principals. And if anybody has ever walked in the shoes of an assistant principal, their day is really full every day, and athletics is kind of the last thing they have time to think about. So I help support them, be it help to find money for different projects or equipment needs, help with the hiring process with different coaches. Anyway, just a myriad of things that way. I try to help with all the reporting requirements for the WIA and the National Federation of High Schools. So we have a good working relationship to make all that happen. Additionally, this year our school district was able to add a new position at our high schools. We're calling it an athletic coordinator. David Koldiner alluded to Bruce Overstreet at Everett High School. Scott Stencil is that person at Cascade, and Alan Briggs at Jackson. And those three folks are kind of our PR liaison people. They're out meeting and greeting with the kids at practices, helping coaches with different issues, because again, our assistant principals have a few other duties.
And those three folks are full-time in building, right?
They are. They teach 3 periods a day, and then 2 periods a day. They're released to do this work.
We talked a little bit with the football coaches about it. We'll talk about participation, keeping participation by the students up.
Yeah, it's definitely a focus. Obviously,
is it down? Is it up? What is it?
Yeah, I think nationally and in our state, it's pretty level. The biggest topic of conversation is about participation in football. As we talk about concussions and the long-term effects multiple concussions can have, more parents are less likely to put kids into football, particularly at the youth level. And if kids don't start playing at an earlier age, they often opt not to play at all. And so, but most other sports we're pretty level. Kids and families still see value in competition in the educational arena, and they know that they have caring adults that will support them in all their endeavors, including the classroom. And it's such a great partnership. Academics and athletics, and keeping kids motivated. For some kids, the athletics piece is why they go to school every day. And oh, by the way, they'll learn a few things because they're in class. So it's a great lever. But overall, I'd say our participation rates across the state are pretty level. We're not seeing drastic drops.
I think where you start to see drops, I think not only across the state but across the country, attendance now, right? I mean, it's back when we were kids, it was either watch one of the 3 channels that was on your TV screen or go to a sporting event on a Friday night. Now they're all playing Fortnite and doing other things. And is that something that, as an athletic director, you need to start working on and you've already started maybe talking with some of the folks about? Or?
Yeah, we definitely see a decline in attendance at our games. Schools are trying to get creative. For example, last year, Cascade High School elected to use some of their ASB funds to provide a router bus to all the home games. So they're trying to find ways to get kids in the stands. Parents have only so many dollars that they can spend on a monthly basis, so they have to make some choices. And so we do need to get more creative. At the same time, ticket prices are what they are so that we can pay for the programs we offer, buy new uniforms and other equipment. And so we are open to any and all new ideas to try to see how we can get more people up in the stands, because it's still a great product. We wish that college football would stay off of Friday night and not compete with our opportunities with our high school kids, but they too are looking for more dollars, and that's part of the reason why they do that.
So we are out of time.
Quickly, where are you at this weekend? Are you going to be at a state event?
I may go down to the track meet in Tacoma.
There we go.
We forgot about track. We didn't even talk about track tonight.
We will talk plenty about track next week. Hopefully we'll have some state champions to talk about.
Today's show brought to you by Vanderyacht Propane, Snohomish County PUD, Glass by Lund, Allstate Insurance Agent Brian Reed, the Law Office of Russell and Hill, the Buzz Inn Steakhouse, the Lake Stevens Ace Hardware Store, Major League Pizza, Snohomish County DUI Task Force, and by Chinook Lumber. For Steve Willits, I'm Tom Lafferty. Get out to a game. Fox Sports 1380, FM 95.3, KRKO, Everett.
With Tom Looney.
Correct? Right.